It's a scene impossible to imagine in Australia. The giant Hyundai Motor Company, its biggest factory located in the south of the country, forcibly taken over and occupied by its workers. Whole families are behind a barricade of brand new Hyundai cars. Tanks of flammable liquid sit ready to send the lot up in flames. For 1 month they'd been deadlocked. Workers on the inside, riot police outside, as management and union leaders wage a battle over plans for mass layoffs at the factory.
폭력 행위에 대해서 유감을 표시하고 정부의 엄정한 법 집행을 촉구했습니다.
This fight between the strongest, most militant union in the country and one of South Korea's biggest conglomerates is seen as a showdown. Crush the union here and you crush them everywhere.
못 받는다면은 저는 내일 17시까지 되살치게 기회를 주겠습니다. 그렇지 않으면 2,600 임금 삭감을 포함해서 모든 것을 처리하겠습니다.
It's been a bitter month at the Hyundai factory in Ulsan. Violence has been a regular visitor, with casualties on both sides. At one stage here, 15,000 riot police assembled outside this factory, ready to charge. Women and children became the union's frontline defence. Hyundai management warned us not to enter the factory compound without a bodyguard. But we had one better. Someone on the inside. In January last year, I visited this same factory. I met assembly line worker Kang Bong-jin, went to his home and met his wife, Jung Yol, and their young daughter. Back then, he forecast a tough battle looming between management and unions. I'm told he's now in this makeshift camp. His home for the last month, and around 10,000 other rebel workers. It's a long time since I saw you. What's been happening?
사회적인 변화는요, 실업자가 상당히 많이 생겼습니다. 지금 정부 통계만 해도 200만 이상이라고 실업자가 생겼고요. 그리고 자살하거나 또 노숙하는 사람들, 이런 사람들이 엄청나게 많이 늘었죠. 예.
I find there's a warrant out for his arrest, along with dozens of other union leaders. He hasn't been able to leave the factory since the strike began.
경찰이 투입되는 거에 대해서는 사실 사람이라고 하면 여자들이나 또 아이들, 그리고 실제로 여기서 열심히 싸우고 있는, 투쟁하고 있는 노동자들도 그런 두려움을 갖고 있지만 지금 여기에서 밀려나면 죽음으로 밀려난다고 생각하고 있습니다.
The business sector says that layoffs are essential if the economy is going to recover. Do you accept that?
저는 정리해고를 받을 수 없다는 입장을 갖고 있습니다. 그리고 이건 저 생각이 아니라 지금 많은 노동자들이 정리해고를 받을 수 없다는 생각을 갖고 있습니다. 그것은 핵심적으로 정리해고를 해야 해서 우리가 생활을 유지할 수 있다고 하면 저는 가능성도 있다고 생각하는데 사회보장제도가 하나도 있지 않습니다. 그것은 옛날도 그랬고 작년 노개특 때도 그랬고요. 그리고 현재도 그렇습니다.
Hyundai provides 1/3 of all jobs in Ulsan, a city of 1 million people. Take these jobs from them, and there's precious little else to go to. And it's the same story the country over. Bankruptcies, layoffs, arbitrary sackings. Almost 5,000 jobs are lost every day. 1 million jobs have disappeared just since the start of this year. In South Korea, there's no such thing as a government unemployment benefit, and many wind up here. The resentment and anger are growing. Seoul police refused to come down to the city's subways with us for fear of an attack, so we went down on our own with a concealed camera. Men still in their work clothes, or mothers and their children, lay huddled, surviving from day to day. With no social welfare system to speak of, the government is watching this human scrap heap grow.
아프리카에 가면은 사바나 사막이라는 데가 있는데 하이에나가 그 먹다 남은 거는 독수리가 먹는 것처럼 사람이 아니고 짐승들이 모여 사는 집합제라는 것이 좀 어려웠습니다.
48-year-old Kim Hong-bin told me how he worked as a manager with the Kia Motor Company until it went bankrupt last November. 17 years he worked for them and was laid off without a cent.
그동안은 17년 동안은 보람을 많이 느꼈습니다. 그리고 행복했습니다. 그리고 제가 근무했던 회사 정문을 나설 때는 굉장히 마음이 암담했습니다.
He's lived on the street since, leaving his wife and 2 daughters to rely on relatives.
가장 어려웠던 거는 잠잘 시간에 잠을 못 잤다는 거. 두 번째로는 식사 시간에 식사를 못 했다는 거. 세 번째로는 옆에서 왜 잠을 못 자느냐면 싸움박질을 하기 때문에. 근데 아사에서 하루에 한두 명씩 아마 여기에 있는 동료분도 계시지만은 하루에 보통 한 2명 정도 사망되는 걸로 알고 있습니다. 먹질 않고 밥이 없으니까. 그러니까 이제 술만, 알코올, 드링킹, 빈속에 하다 보니까 잠자리도 없고 그러다 보니까 자기 스스로 이렇게 해서 그 앰뷸런스가 와서 싣고 가는 거를 직접 먹게 했습니다. 참 불쌍하더라고요. 젊은 사람이었어요.
Some find short-term labouring work, but it's getting harder and harder to find.
청소부 하겠다고 이렇게 지원서를 썼는데 거기에도 경쟁률이 50대 1이 이렇게 되는가 보고 마음의 병이 커서 마음의 병을 고쳐야 될 것 같습니다. 눈물이 나고 눈에서 피가 나와요. 더 이상 표현이 없습니다. 그 입장을 바꿔서 한번 그 입장을 안 당해본 사람은 그건 모를 겁니다.
Our unemployment rate might already be at 10% at this level. And once you have real big layoffs at Hyundai Motors and Samsung Electronics and so forth, we could easily get to 15% unemployment, I think, at the depth of this crisis.
It sounds extraordinary for Korea. What is that likely to do to this country?
Well, I think this is a devastating experience, and this is probably as bad or this experience, anything comparable in the minds of people living in Korea today would be the Korean War. But most of the people who've survived the Korean War are people who are now in their 50s and 60s, mostly 60s. So for the people who are facing this problem, who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, this will be a tremendous shock.
Back at the Hyundai factory, the toing and froing between management and union is getting them nowhere. There's no resolution in sight, and there's word that police numbers are again swelling outside the compound. Risking arrest, Kang Bong-jin has slipped out to meet with the families of union organisers who are already in jail, arrested during a dawn raid by police when the strike began.
저는 살상을 맞고 그리고 지금 더 이상의 희생들을 막아야 된다는 생각들을 위원장이 강하게 갖고 있기 때문에 저녁 늦게라도 시간이 좀 걸리지만 타결될 가능성은 일정 부분 있다고 생각합니다.
Last time I was here, this factory was alive with activity. They were churning out more than 5,000 vehicles every day. It's quite a shock to me to see this massive and efficient production line simply at a standstill, with the skeletons of cars still sitting on the rack. Not surprisingly, Hyundai is incensed at the loss of production, now estimated to be around $800 million US.
Yeah, I'm feeling that this situation would make their bad signal to the investors, and then also other companies that are considering the layoffs. We lost already a lot of money, so we are kind of in difficult situation. We know we cannot give in.
Do you think that if Hyundai gives in, that it will send a signal that the unions have the power in Korea?
Deep inside, I feel that, but on the surface, I'm not in the position where I can say that kind of statement.
But you feel that's true?
Yeah, I would say that.
And for the future of Korea as a country, which was relying on investment and relying on business being able to restructure, do you think this is a bad sign?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that.
Hyundai has become a symbol for Korea's conglomerates. Big layoffs here will pave the way for other companies to do the same. Hyundai is being pressured not to give in to the union. The government has different ideas. Frightened by the damage this one strike is doing to the economy and the country's image overseas, the South Korean government has sent in its own mediators to pressure the two sides to compromise.
그래서 중재단에서 무슨 얘기를 하셨는지 제가 잘 모르겠는데 돈이 온 건 사실이고 제가 지금 얘기 좋은 얘기 하셨네요.
Do you feel that the mediators are more on the side of the unions at the moment?
Oh, yes. I would say that. They are more, I would say, more biased to their union.
So do you feel that the company is being pressured to cave in, to give in?
If I said that, they would be very angry.
Is it true?
But still, I'm feeling, yeah. Personally, I'm kind of feeling the pressure.
By nightfall, the union has walked out of the negotiations.
두려워하지 않겠습니다. 또 몸이 숙여가면서까지 협상하지 않겠습니다.
A bloody end to the impasse now seems inevitable to all those here. The government mediators are desperately pursuing both sides to avoid it. Finally, in the early hours of the morning, both sides cave in to the mounting government pressure. In the photo opportunity after, only the government mediators are smiling. Union headquarters bore the marks next morning of what workers thought of the deal. The union has accepted layoffs, a mere fraction of the number Hyundai wants, but it sets an historic precedent. Well, an agreement of sorts, but one that many of the workers here say is a pact with the devil. They've accused the union leadership of a sellout, not only of Hyundai workers, but of all Korean workers. It paves the way for what big business wants, for the government to simply give companies like Hyundai free rein to become more competitive.
All the government policy should be concentrated on this point, I think.
So, social reform can wait?
Social reform can go together in hand, but one step behind maybe, yes.
It's comforting to see the economic turmoil hasn't penetrated here, the most exclusive golf club in Korea, the Konjeom Country Club, an hour out of Seoul. It's a perfect day for golf, and at 7:30 on a Sunday morning, there's a steady stream of golfers.
Yes, well, we are trying to show our confidence in economies to the foreign investors, so they could have some mind to invest into Korea, and they will be okay when they invest in Korea. Well, I guarantee it.
Business as usual.
Usual, yes.
Top company executives are out with the vice chairman of the Korea Employers Federation, Mr. Cho Nam-hong, one of the most vocal critics of the government's handling of the Hyundai dispute. The government didn't go hard enough, he says.
Government should endeavor for the strict enforcement of law. Any intervention by political logic may or will make the situation worse.
They want more of what they're used to, protection. Leave it up to the captains of industry to get South Korea out of trouble. After all, they helped make the country what it is today, a financial mess.
I think at the moment probably big businesses are not really taking a fair share of the burden on themselves. But I think there's still too much pride in these people. I mean, there's a lot of vested interest in what they've been doing. It's very hard for them to cut off a division or a company of a group which is being run by your brother or your cousins and or your trusted employee for decades and so forth. So I think they're not really facing up to the problem at this stage.
Big business are working very hard, and they are these days they are very much busy at some work. We're rating a big deal. Yeah, big deal.
They're doing deals all right amongst themselves and hoping to tough it out without too much hardship. But unless the burden of change is shared more equally than it is now, the glue that's binding Koreans together in their economic fight back will come unstuck. Heaven forbid the homeless of Korea should occupy the Greens